Hello everyone, I'm Brian and welcome back. Let's just go ahead and get started.
Thank you for the answer, Sadhguru. Now we'll open this to audience questions. I think there were a lot of people that side. And okay, so Javi's been raising his hand and standing up since a long period of time, so I'll give it to him first.
Good afternoon, Sadhguruji. As an elder, as a guest, and as an achiever, you have my respect. Now, you've been talking about a lot of undernourishment in India, people who are undernourished. It is these very undernourished people that we have taken away the food from, their nutrition. And secondly, it is these minorities who are scared to, do things out of their own volition, exercise, their own autonomy because of the environment we have created. And you also talked about, how America, respects its national anthem. There have been several politically motivated stances taken by a lot of people whereby they decided not to respect the national anthem.
No. They decided to respect in a different way.
True. But
so there
it's
is a
also,
difference.
By not standing up is the point here. I'm saying that we have created an environment of coercion and violence here. And in solidarity, if we decide to, not do this because it seems like a politically motivated.
Please, sir, the microphone.
Because it seems like a politically motivated.
We didn't hear
decision.
the last sentence.
We have created an environment of coercion and violence in the society. All the people are being forced to do this against their autonomy. So in solidarity, if you decide to not stand for the national anthem, there are bigger things here. I hope that was not a rhetorical when you asked us, is there a solution? Why should we, look for a higher ideal somewhere? Why can't we just, live with acceptance and tolerance instead? Respect these people's opinions. That's the idea.
No.
That's
where does acceptance and tolerance and national anthem? I don't even understand. Where is the relationship?
Because many people don't want to stand for the national anthem because it's probably against their beliefs. Or, they...
No.
We are failing them as a nation. How will, us appealing to, some created deity of a nation help us in, solving these problems?
I am 100% with you if we are thinking in a spiritual way. I am not identified with my nationality. I see all people around the world are involved with me. My work largely today has become much bigger outside the country than here. So it is not… See, you're looking at this in a very simplistic way or in a rudimentary way. In the sense, you think everybody should be either for or against. I am not for or against, I am just asking you. Now you talked about various levels of injustice which has happened in the country. Unfortunately, it's a fact. The question is, to correct this, should we stay together or each one of us do our own thing and hope it'll get corrected?
I'm just saying that the staying together can happen by acceptance and tolerance and not
Yes,
by…
sir, but that's not happened, right?
Oh, and real quick, the tolerance, oh man, Osho had a really good… Tolerance means just putting up with someone that you don't like. That is not going to work. And I completely agree with Osho in that definition. But to say that we should tolerate at first so that we get to know someone better and hope that we don't have to tolerate them forever, in turns that we learn that we like more about the person and realize the things that we're tolerating is just minor things that are really inconsequential. But if you're constantly having to tolerate, eventually that valve is going to burst and it's just going to end up being right back to fighting each other or whatever it may be. Not necessarily fighting, but just disagreeing to a major degree, which is what's maybe going on right now. We cannot tolerate, and that's the thing. The thing he doesn't understand is that people need to, again, I said it already before, need to unite under one idea so that we can all have a common goal. India united against the British because they were all oppressed by the British. So every person in India, no matter their qualms amongst each other, put that aside. Why? Because there was a bigger problem at hand, and that was the British. Their independence, their freedom. And this is not what he's seeing. It's the fact that India right now, because they don't have this big oppression over them or whatever big problem it may be, that they're each identifying their own problems and each trying to solve their own problems, and they're not uniting together because they think each of their own individual problems are much bigger than the other person's problems for the most part. And because of this lack of unity, it's difficult to get things done when everyone's trying to do their own thing.
It can happen in theory, but has it happened? I will tell you, if everybody turns spiritual, if they experience something beyond their body, beyond their mind and beyond their beliefs and everything, the whole world will become one. I know that and I'm working for that. But do I believe it'll happen tomorrow morning? It'll not happen tomorrow morning.
I mean…
I must tell you, when I was… how old are you?
I'm 21.
Huh?
I'm 21.
Okay, when I was 4 years beyond you, when I was 25, something happened to me. I just sat in one place and suddenly I realized every cell in my body was bursting with ecstasy. I didn't do anything, simply it was overflowing with ecstasy. Then I realized, if you don't do anything, if you don't mess with anything in the body or in the mind, it just overflows with ecstasy by itself. When I realized this, I actually sat down and made a plan. This is so simple. On that day, the world's population was 5.6 billion people. I made a calculation and said, in 2.5 years' time, I will make the whole world ecstatic because it doesn't need anything. If you just teach them how not to mess with themselves, they will all become ecstatic. I thought it's going to happen on that day. But look at me, 37 years, hey, you're not looking at me. 37 years, and well, I have touched over 500 million people, but that's not my idea of the world. My idea of the world is 7.6 billion people. Now I know I will die as a failure, joyfully, but as a failure. So I want you to understand the nation is not built on some egalitarian ideas. People need emotion. Without emotion, they won't come together. You cannot put people together without emotion. Whether it's a family or a nation, it's true.
Just one last point I want to make. You have so much soft power as a celebrity and, as a, mystic who is well known throughout India. And the state at the same time is the state well. So, I mean, in such a politically charged environment, us taking a stance, I do think that's problematic to, a lot of other, communities which disagree with what's happening.
What stance have I taken?
In terms of saying that, national anthem should be respected and, these are things which people don't agree with.
Okay, what would you like to respect about this nation? Please tell me, we'll do that.
He wasn't listening to what he said earlier. Again, it's just one idea. It's something that everyone must be able to do and get behind. It doesn't matter what it is. Most things unite under like something that's very tangible, ideas. I'm sorry, I'm looking for a certain comment here and I want to read that real quick. But it's a very tangible idea and he is missing that point. And the sheer fact that, oh God, I'm so sorry. The sheer fact that he's missing that point, clearly he wasn't listening, or his head's just filled with the sheer fact that he only has his own ideas up there and not accepting other ideas. It's just, and this is the problem again in the United States as well. It's again, both sides have it. People, again, when you go to extremes, they always tend to listen to their own selves and don't listen to anything else. That's the problem. This is why I tend to center around the middle, and the middle people tend to be the more rational because they listen to both perspectives and find out maybe a good commonality. No side wins, but no side loses either, and we can get things done because most of them can unite under, hey, I'm only getting half the things I want, but at least I'm getting something. And the other side saying, well, I'm at least getting half the things I want, at least I'm getting something, versus the extreme side was it's all or nothing. And then nothing's going to get done.
Constitution at least?
Sure, I mean, I'm saying let's just respect each other, that's it.
See, where is each other? We don't meet each other, right? Every day? See, please understand, when we say a nation, we are not talking it's a flag or it's an anthem. When we say a nation, we are talking it's a certain people. So there are certain symbols which represent these people whom you call as Indians right now. So why 3 striped colors? Why can't we have 7 colors? Yes, we can have, why not? If you want to redesign the flag, you can. But right now, this is it, all right? If you want to change the design, we can. You want to change the anthem, we can rewrite the anthem if you wish. But I am saying, without tools of integration, you don't make a nation. It is idealistic
That
to say,
rhymed.
let's not have anything, let's just live as a global village. It's fantastic idea, but can you make it a reality? Can you execute this idea? That's all I'm asking. I'm talking about execution. As an idea, global is fine. If there is no nationality in the world, it'll be a fantastic world. But are we capable of doing that? Within a state, we have to break two states because we can't get along for some reason, isn't it?
So I think we'll spread out the questions in the interest of bringing out diversity of opinion. If the mic would be given to the lady in the third seat here.
What?
Yeah, here, can
Hello?
the mic be given?
Hello? Namaskaram, Sadhguru.
Who is this? Where are you?
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Sadhguru, I will take only 45 seconds, okay?
Question is 45 seconds,
I'm-
why?
Sir, I won't disturb anyone because there are many a person want to
Really
question.
sorry, but like, could we go ahead and, I mean, he
Okay,
chose
okay.
somebody first, let's go with him.
Yeah,
Sadhguru,
can the mic be given to the lady in the third seat?
can I ask a question first?
You should ask, you're going about giving a speech, huh?
Sir, I just want to say you are just my life, okay?
No, this is not a…
Okay, sir, my question.
Expression. Please ask
Okay,
the
my question is, sir, you told in your childhood you experienced the realization of ignorance. Some point when I watch your video, I also felt that I don't know really nothing. Nothing means nothing. But after 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I get influenced by my mind or something like that, and I lose that realization. I want to live like that. I want to live that. I want to live like the realization that I don't know. From that realization, my intelligence just becomes pure, and I can look at everything.
That's fine. See,
That's the question.
just intellectually thinking I do not know is not the point. You must know the pain of not knowing.
You must
The
seek
pain
the
of
answer.
not knowing should sear through you. Only then your intelligence becomes awake. See, just look at this. Suppose I ask you to walk from here to there right now. Lights are on and you will simply walk like this without noticing anything. Suppose we make this hall pitch dark, you don't know what is next step. Will you walk? Everything alert, all your senses, intelligence, awareness, everything super alert, simply because you do not know where the next step is. So, I do not know is not an intellectual conclusion. It is the pain of not knowing. It must really sear through you, it won't let you sleep, it won't let you eat, it will keep you in a certain way. When it keeps you in that way, then you will see your intelligence stays awake and alert. In sleep and in wakefulness, it stays alert. When that happens, see, just now we finished Ganesh Chaturthi. What Ganesh Chaturthi means is, it's all become all about eating now. We've made it like that because we only see Ganesha's big stomach these days and we are inspired by that. Essentially, you know the story of what happened, that little boy stopped Shiva and Shiva decided to take off the head of a Gana. A Gana means, Ganas are described this way, that they were talking in a language that nobody understood and they had limbs which had no bones. Like this it's described in the certain texts. So he took off one of their heads, or the chief of the Gana, and put it on this boy and made him live with this new head. So he had this new head which is not a human head. Because of this, he was extraordinarily intelligent. You heard of those stories where he asked Vyasa that if you dictate something to me, you should not stop. If you stop, I will give up this stupid project and go. If you don't know what you're talking, I'm not going to write down. You must simply speak without a break, only then I will write down. So essentially, Ganesha had enormous… he's Ganesha, not Gajesha, okay? The elephant head came because of Shivakashi calendars. So he's a Ganapati and he has an extraordinary head and an intelligence. Because of this intelligence, he cleared all obstacles. So he became Vigneshwara. So our interest is that in him, that if we have intelligence like this, we will remove all obstacles in our lives. This is the fundamental and the phenomena of Ganesha is just this, that if your intelligence is always on, you simply dissolve all obstacles in your life. So he is a Vigneshwara. But on that day, most people are usually only boosting their belly, not their brain. What it means is you need a new head.
So, Angad has already chosen, so if you could give… And then we'll move on to Joe, because Joe, I mean, some people there also, because he's been raising his hands in some time.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru.
First here.
Many people say that thoughts create karma, and sometimes our biggest fears keep on recurring in our minds on a daily basis. So how do we stop that flow of thoughts, and how do we stop those fears from materializing, and also how to cut down on unwanted karma?
Whoa.
Yeah, I haven't put
See,
on that one.
this whole karma business has been very misunderstood and been projected as a fatalistic process. Karma means this, karma means action. Literally translates as action. As you sit here, there is physical activity going on, there is mental activity going on, there's emotional activity going on, there's energy activity going on. These four dimensions of karma are happening within you every moment of your life. Both in wakefulness and in sleep, it's happening. Now if I ask you a question, since today morning, since you woke up to this moment, how much of these four dimensions of karma are you conducting consciously? How much do you think? Percentage? Well below 1%, believe me. It's way
Jesus.
below 1%. When 1% of your life, let us say, is conducted consciously and 99% accidentally, you must be shit scared of life. How else to live on? If you're driving a car and 99% it is accidental the way you're driving, will you be scared or not? So fear is a consequence of your inability to manage the nature of your intellect. See, your life's experience is happening this way. These are three dimensions. There is something called as memory, which feeds you all the time. Memory is not just what you remember. You don't remember 10 generations ago how your great-grandmother looked, do you? You don't, but her nose is sitting on your face, yes or no? You have genetic memory, you have evolutionary memory, you have karmic memory, articulate and inarticulate levels of memory. This entire thing is memory, head to toe. Every cell in the body is memory, isn't it? We can take one cell and create the whole of you, and that's how your parents also did. Just one cell, and see, you become like this. So, there is enormous amount of memory in this. This memory rules certain things, but there is a present experience. Memory is of the past, but the present is of experience, your ability to experience. If you want to experience anything, you must be conscious, you must be aware, only then you can experience. The future is an imagination. So memory, experience and imagination, it is between these three dimensions in which you exist. Memory you cannot change because it's already there. Present you don't have to change because that is also here right now. It's only the imagination which you can change. So what are you fearful about? Something that will happen or you think will happen, isn't it? Fear is always about something which does not exist right now, it's always about what will happen. So you are suffering that which does not exist. If you're suffering that which does not exist, there are psychiatric terms for that.
Crazy?
Hello? Your only comfort is everybody is in the same state. That's how it is in asylum usually. Everybody is in the same condition. But right now people are in this condition. What happened 10 years ago, they can still suffer. What may happen day after tomorrow, they already suffer. They're suffering things which does not exist, simply because in your education system, you are studying about everything except how to manage this. If you do not know how to manage this, it doesn't matter how much nonsensical information you have gathered, it'll be not of much use to your life. You must know how to keep this, how to conduct this body, how to conduct this mind, how to conduct this emotional structure and the energy structure. If you do not know anything about this, then you are an accidental being. You being fearful is good, otherwise you may cause enormous harm to yourself.
The next person, if I'm not wrong, was Joe, so he'll be…
think
Got
this is the
everything
person.
set, huh?
Yeah. Hello, Jaggi Vasudev sir. Before I ask my question, I just have to tell you that I was very impressed by your e-commerce website, which sells yoga merchandise. I think it's really cool. It's better than Flipkart and Amazon, and I hope that in a few years' time, it'll become the biggest e-commerce company,
No.
Yeah.
It's a conscious decision I have taken that our commerce part is done just to take care of a few things. Our commerce will never grow beyond the foundation part. I clearly made the distinction, there's Isha Foundation and there's Isha Business, and we have contained the business. In spite of enormous demand, we have contained the business because…
So it's very impressive, sir.
No, you should not be impressed by that. You must come and see what I do otherwise.
Yeah. So,
The real thing.
my question…
Okay, so I read the comment. I was trying to find the name, and clearly this guy already stands out for that. Oh my gosh. And you can already tell, I can already tell why people point about this person. Clearly he has hate or jealousy or something. Just to point out the business section. Don't get me wrong, again, I'm not against people making business. So long as they're not forcing you to buy something, it's everyone's free will to buy it. It's their choice. Not any… Sadhguru is like coming up to us, buy it or else I'll… I don't know what Sadhguru's power is gonna do, but I'll do it to you, or something like that. It's just no.
I want to tell you that I was also very impressed by your commitment to rule of law that was evident from the discussions that we've had. In the same light, I just want to ask you that in one of the blogs that you have written in your website, you speak about women's entry to Shani temples. And there you say that, look, the reason why they shouldn't be allowed is because there are planetary forces and it's not good for women to enter these temples. In the same vein, I just want to tell you a little bit about the law on the point. There are Supreme Court judgments which say that if you make laws which tend to be discriminatory for women, it cannot be a justification that we are doing it for their benefit. That cannot be the justification for any law that discriminates against women. This is the law of the land. In that same vein, would you say that if that is the law of the land and you're committed to the ideals of law, then one, how do you justify that?
Yes.
And two, one more question, sir.
Let me say…
So just a follow-up question. The second part of the question is, in the same article, you also mentioned that we can control the impact of planetary forces on our life through inner engineering. What is inner engineering? Is it a program that Isha Foundation hands out?
What is?
What exactly is inner engineering? Is it something that you guys do and like if you guys can tell us what is inner engineering, only then will we be able to face the forces of planetary forces? What exactly is this concept of inner engineering?
Okay. We'll answer that.
Boy, it would have been… I don't know what blog he read or what the laws are in there. It's one thing. It could very well have been a legitimate question, but the way he presented it was just so a-hole-ish, just to say the least, on that. I mean, it's fine to be concerned and ask questions, for sure. It doesn't matter what the question is. If you think you misunderstood, or maybe he said something earlier in his life and he's like, hey, you said this, and this. Do you still follow those rules, or do you still follow what you said before? People change. And he's like, yeah, I've said, and Sadhguru said, yeah, I've said that before, but those are no longer the ways. We've changed, or whatever it may be. But the way he said it and the way he presented it, it was just, are you serious, really?
So right now, why don't you ask this institution, NALSAR, only if you tell us what is law, we will know what's the law? What is it?
I'm sorry, sir, could you clarify that? I didn't get what you just said.
No. You tell your institution in which you are, only if you trap us here for 5 years and tell us what is the law, will we understand what is the law? Don't we know? Well, only because you do not know, you have come here, right, to learn. Similarly, only because people could not figure it out by themselves, they have come. And only because it's working for them, they're coming in millions. Okay, you have 700 people here, we have 9 million volunteers working across the world. So, it must be working for them. So do not make these judgments And don't think it's very smart to simply make judgments or everything. You are a lawyer, you are not a judge, all right? So let's come to the question. See, please don't do these things. It is happening from both segments of people. What you like, boo, you shout and clap, please don't do that. For or against, that's not the way. The way to do this is, are we interested in knowing and enhancing? You ask a question as a way to enhance your knowing, not just to prove that you are smart. If you think you can prove you are smart, we will do something else to that. Anyway, you ask this question, I like the e-commerce, I know when you started off, I know when Joe is called, why he is called, we know what it is, I'm not that dumb, okay? When I sit here, when I just look at you, I know what you can ask, I will tell you. Let me tell you this, hello. When I trained teachers to handle engineering programs, now we have transformed the program in a different way, but at one time when it was very intense, I trained the teachers like this. Somebody walks into the hall, they settle down here today by themselves without being guided. You just see, I made a chart of the hall and said, see, if they sit here, if they sit here, if they sit here, this is the question they will ask. You just be ready. When he raises his question, you know this is what he will ask. 93 to 94% of the time, it's always right like that. People think they are free and they're asking questions. But if they sit in that place, that's a question they will ask. In any venue, not in any particular venue, just anywhere. This may not look logical to you, but life happens like that anyway. So now when you start praising the e-commerce, I know why it is, it's not that you're appreciating it. I'm telling you, Isha Foundation is a foundation run by the volunteers. Over 4,600 full-time volunteers who are far more educated than you are, and over 9 million part-time volunteers across the world, giving their time and money and energy to make this happen. Why are people doing this? We are not promising them we'll take you to heaven. We are not telling you you will go and sit in God's lap. Why are they doing it? It must be done wonders to them, otherwise why will they invest their life in it? So without knowing anything, don't make conclusions. So are you the only one? Well, you can do it in so many other ways. If you knew how to figure it out, why would I be needed? You do not know how to figure it out, so somebody comes and helps. If somebody comes and helps, why are you helping people? You leave them with their problems, they'll be good business for a lawyer? Is that what you're talking to me? Please don't feed upon people's problems. People have problems. If you have a solution, it's good. If you don't have a solution, at least leave them alone. Now, about commerce,
I'm sorry, let me pause real quick because he's about to get to commerce. I wish he would have told, I do believe he said this in another video where he said that actually engineering was for free, but the problem was people were not taking it seriously. And I wish he would give the example to that kid that if college was free, because right now in the United States, high school is free, and it used to be that's all you need. Well, I don't remember if in the past high school is free or not, but high school was all you needed to work somewhere. It was basically like a college degree back in the time. Now a college degree is needed, and this college degree is what you usually need. It's, oh, you've done so much, you put in a lot of effort. It costs, people know college is expensive, so for you to dedicate yourself in college shows that you really want to put in effort and time. But if college was free, like high school, well, then it becomes just another piece of paper, because now because high school is free, it's just a toilet paper that you get at the end of after doing 12 years of school. You know, it's not really worth much, honestly, because it's free. Everyone can get it. So then that's the problem. That is generally the problem. That's why whenever he made that comment, I can't remember which video it was, whenever it's free, it generally just becomes useless, because anyone can get it, and you can get it anytime. There's no rush. And I personally experienced this myself, because I want to learn a lot of things, and I go and I look at stuff on YouTube or on some books that are free, and I just ignore it. Why? Because I invested nothing into it. So I'm like, it's free, I'll do it later. You know, there's no investment into it. And I think I watched also another YouTube video where you know, they say that the reason why there's a course that they charge is because whenever people invest money into it, it's like, I'm gonna make this worth it. I earned this money. I spent this money. I am going to make sure this money is earned. The investment of this money is earned. I'm going to get my money's worth, basically. And that's exactly what Sadhguru said. I hope he says that to this kid.
Have every day in the yoga center, the minimum meal is around 7,000 people per meal. On the weekends, it's 15 to 20,000. Whoever comes, nobody inquires, who are you, why are you eating here? Whoever comes, they're welcomed and they're fed, all right? And we are running 12 schools in remotest parts of India, which is the same level of education that one would get in a good urban school, and 40% of the children are first generation going to school. Over 9,000 children are sponsored fully for their entire education. And we have medical activity going on across Tamil Nadu in a big way. There are many other aspects which I don't want to go on listing. For all this to happen, it needs a certain financial thing. Now if I come to you with a begging bowl, you will say, why have you come to me with a begging bowl? If I earn my own money, you are saying, why are you earning your own money? What is the problem here?
Oh man, he just burnt that dude. Ooh, he was so… oh my god, dude. How do you feel after that? You just like freaking bashing Sadhguru here because he's earning money. It's like, oh, your e-commerce business and not realizing where that money's going. Oh man. So yeah, it's making about 7 million a year. And he's like, oh, what are you doing with 7 billion a year? Oh yeah, it's all getting donated to charities and to people who can afford it. Oh jeez.
What is the problem? Only thing is, I have not come to you as a client. Is that the only problem you have? I want you to know, the people who are working in the foundation, most of them, some of them are here, they're doctors, engineers, accountants. They have quit top high-paying jobs in their life and they're serving for free, all right? Thousands of them. And you have something against them, please. It's not about me because I don't do all that work. People are doing all that work, including the website and the commerce.
So just for the diversity of opinion, so that, I mean, as a moderator, I have to ask people from…
Oh, women's rights, yes. About Shani Signapur. See, first of all, you have a misunderstanding that Indian temple is a place of prayer. Indian temple is not a place of prayer. I want you to know this. Different temples were built in different ways for specific purposes. Shani temple is built for occult purposes. Occult means… you know what's occult? What is the Telugu word for occult? What? What is that? What people call as black magic or whatever, you know? There are certain occult practices where if the occult practices are being done, women in state of pregnancy, in menstrual cycles, it could seriously impact their life. So they said women should not go. It was also designed that on a certain day, if the woman is in a certain condition, on a full moon day she can go, other days… These are prescriptions, these are not restrictions. These are prescriptions, these are not discriminations. These are done with a specific intent. Or, now that you're talking about women's rights, why don't you fight for the men's rights? In our temple, the Bhairavi temple that we have, men are not allowed inside the sanctum. Why don't you stand up and fight for that, I will tell you.
Again, something similar going on in the United States. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's kind of weird. Now, for religious things, again, I get what his point of view on that. In my opinion, in terms of religion and private businesses, they can do whatever they want. They can completely restrict whoever they want to go in there. That's the reason why I'm sorry, that's the reason why in private businesses and religious stuff, there's a separation of church and state. The state can't tell what the church can do, and the church will not interfere with the state. There's a complete separation there. A private business, a church, there's certain laws, obviously, but I do believe them to be separate. A private business should be able to run however they want it. They can be as discriminatory as they want, and they'll have to suffer the consequences of that. But that second, oh man.
Why they're not allowed? That temple is only for the women. Men are not allowed. Why? Is it a discrimination? It is not about discrimination. It is a certain dimension of life. If you go by this crude sense of equality, you will harm the woman immensely.
I'm sorry. This is so much of what's going on even currently today in America. Oh my gosh. In a little bit different sense though. But the sheer fact that there's this push in America as well for equality and gender identity and all that kind of crazy stuff. And then if you look at even in Britain, I believe, or UK, maybe just Britain, not sure about Welsh and Ireland, but more than likely Western cultures anyway. You see a lot of this push for women can do the same things as men, which and maybe some aspects they can. I don't know. I don't have a statistics on what everyone's good at or whatever, but I do see some videos where they have men competing in women's sports and men are just utterly dominating. And there are also stories where they have just again biological males who identify as women competing in their sport and destroying their records.
There are millions of temples open to everybody. Suddenly why discrimination will come in one temple? What are you talking about? This is not a culture which discriminated against women. There are more female deities in this country than male deities. Every village you go, there is an Amman temple, there is a Devi temple. And you think it's discrimination?
No.
These are very rudimentary ideas picked up from the West. You have not seen this culture, you have not understood the profoundness with which is run. Unfortunately, because of 15-20 generations of poverty, we've kind of mixed it up and made a mess out of it. That is a different matter.
So, before I move on to another person, and he'll probably be the last person, before I move on to you, are the people there done with that particular question, or is there any further question on that particular issue? I mean, for diversity of opinion, I need to choose somebody from here. So, I mean, unless you don't have a further point on the same issue, I'll proceed.
What is this for diversity? Is the room split up? Or are you talking about male and female, or is the room split up into like one ideology over another? That's so, and this is something I hate that I'm starting to see in the US too, is where they keep saying this diversity stuff, and it's like, what? And then you see like the Google announcement with their identities, like, oh, he goes by him, her, or I'm sorry, him, she, or she, he, him, something like that. Oh my gosh, it's getting crazy.
So, could somebody please give him the mic?
Namaskaram, sir.
And I'm sorry, I keep pausing it because again, the only reason why I talk a lot is because this is something that I'm, like the first 2 episodes has been, I'm very extremely passionate about these things, and it's retarded, it's getting crazy. I don't usually do this. I was good, but until you get to certain subjects, which is just so ridiculous to me. And how much more complicated are we going to make the language by, oh, instead of saying, hey, what's up, how you doing? You know, it's like, oh, I identify as this and that, and you have to identify me as this and that, and if you don't identify me as this and that, then it's illegal, and you're going to go to jail, and you're like, you're constantly, and now you're going to make the world more anxious because, like, oh man, I don't know, is this person this or that, or is that the other person? There's like 64 of them in my mind right now, and I can't think which one's who. Oh, better put it on my cell phone, and I'll take up. No, I can't take. I have to ask permission for that one too. I have to get their consent. It's about the denied consent. And okay, wait. Actually, was that a week ago that I had to name them that, or is that today? I'm not sure. I have to ask. I don't know what to call them. Oh, I'm sure I said them, and oh my gosh, I'm going to jail.
So yeah, so if Job has a follow-up, then please proceed.
So this,
I can't help it. I mean, if he's not satisfied with the same issue, he should be.
All right.
This crude sense of knowledge that you're talking about is the knowledge that's coming from the Supreme Court of the country.
Who is speaking? Huh?
So this crude sense of knowledge that you say is the knowledge that's coming from the Supreme Court of the country.
No, please
You
understand.
are
No, please
you are,
listen to me.
Sir, you're still not addressing the point that who are you and I sitting here to make prescriptions for women and say that this is harmful for you, hence don't do it, or this is not harmful and you shouldn't do it. It's not up for you and I to do it. If it's harmful and they still want to do it, they are free to do it, right? I mean, you say that what people want to do in their bedroom, it's an individual choice. If women want to enter it, they want to enter it. Who are us to stop it?
You ask a question, please. You please ask a question. I'm not that dumb that a question needs to be explained to me. You ask a question.
So you didn't answer it the first time, hence I'm explaining.
Okay,
Job,
you asked a question
so-
again. Let me answer this, right? The question is, who are you to tell the ladies whether they should go to this or not?
No, I'm saying they should have the option. I'm saying they should have the
Alright.
option.
So, I
got
mean, just
it.
to give a similar example, sir, alcohol
I got
might
it.
be. Oh, sorry.
I got it. There are hundreds of temples in the country where men cannot enter.
I'm sorry. I want to answer that kid so badly in some sense, but of course I need time to make sure my answers are correct. I mean, why don't we let kids drink alcohol and smoke marijuana when they're 4 years old? I mean, I want them to have the option. He's probably going to say, so well, they have to first develop their brain, become intelligent and smart. It's like, I mean, I get what he's saying, and I do agree to some degree that they should have the option and free will to do it, but at the same time, you don't enforce your own beliefs on other people's beliefs. This is a great example of what he was talking about, how men and women have their own separate spaces, like there's a temple that men cannot go in. What if a woman decides to create their own safe space of working out because they don't like being harassed by men? I hope he comes up there and calls those women sexist. I will have mad respect for him if he does that for everyone, men and women who do the exact same things. If he's only doing it for women, he's a sexist, and that's all I can really say for that, honestly. But again, I no matter whether I agree with someone or not, if they keep their how do I say, their arguments consistent across the board, where they say that, oh, men shouldn't have their own place to go, women should have the right to go in there, and then there's a woman's place, like, oh no, men should be able to go in there too, women should have no right to that. It's like, okay, you know what, he's consistent at least, I can't argue with him there. I may disagree with his point of view, but at least it's consistent. Now if he's only saying that for men or women, but not the other, he's trash argument right there.
So if men
There's a history of discrimination
that is a different matter. See, you're mixing up two things. There is unfortunate history of discrimination on all levels. That's a different matter that has to be settled in a different way. But when a specific aspect comes, if you want to rule out all the subtler aspects of life and just say this is it. Anyway, let me tell you this. This I'm on camera, let me tell you this, okay? Supreme Court is there to interpret the constitution. It cannot create a new constitution. Doesn't matter what are the powers of the court. It cannot create a new constitution. It is only there to interpret the law the way it is. Am I right? You're all lawyers? Hello?
That's debatable. That's debatable.
When you debate that, there is going to be lots of problems, because every pressure point, people will apply. Every motivated group will push for their own laws. If you create enough ruckus, some new law will happen. This should not happen. It is essentially within the framework of the constitution, everything should happen. In the framework of the constitution, there are laws where there are public places and there are private temples and private places of worship. How it should be done there is left to them. It is for them to decide how it happens. Is it happening simply because of a discrimination against a gender? If it is so, it must be struck down absolutely. But if there are other aspects to it, if you think you cannot consider anything else, then it's ridiculous. It becomes ridiculous. It's like saying, don't I have the right to enter the ladies' toilet? What nonsense is this? Do you need a law?
That's happening in the United States. Oh God.
You just need sense that you don't go there.
Too late.
Job, is your question answered? Like, or should
No,
I?
it's not answered, but that's
Then-
okay.
It's not answered. Shall we answer, Mr. Joe?
Okay, so
I'm okay.
So there's a difference between a man not allowed to enter a woman's toilet and you using the same
See,
analogy.
I'm not saying he's not allowed. A
No.
man who is a man will not enter. That's all I said.
So that's a really
I think
stupid analogy
given-
that you're saying.
So,
we are discussing the question of women's entry to temple,
So
and you're
just one
saying the
second,
reason why
I'm
they're
sorry to
not
stop
allowed.
you.
One
Yes,
second,
so,
Subbu.
I'm sorry, so you can continue with your
The
question.
problem, sir, Mr. Joe, you do not know the culture of this nation. You're talking simply activism
Yeah,
without
because-
knowing
because
the
I'm
culture of
Catholic,
this
right?
nation. Because in this country, in this culture, the idea of discrimination never arose. I want you to understand, even before other countries ever thought of even giving franchise to the woman, this country did not even debate whether women should have voting rights or not. It's simply there because in our culture we never thought so.
Wait, he said he was Catholic? Did he say he was Catholic? Oh man, talk about some women's rights issues in that religion. I mean, don't get me wrong there. Nowadays it's a little bit questionable, depends on how far Catholic you are.
So the discrimination, exploitation is there. I want you to understand, there is exploitation, there is no necessary discrimination. Exploitation is not just of the woman. Anybody who is weaker than you, people are exploiting, whether it's a man, woman or child. Why do you think everybody is beating the children? Just simply because they're small. Not because they have a right to do it. So anything which is weaker than them, they're exploiting, not just women. Unfortunately, women have also been taken a much amount of beating in terms of exploitation. But do not misunderstand exploitation and discrimination in a fundamental way. Discrimination is a different aspect, exploitation is a different aspect.
I think, Job, we can agree to disagree here and let's move on. There's one last question we'll be picking up. Yeah,
Fine, so for the diversity of opinion, there's
we'll
somebody
pick on
that
from the
group.
back.
Okay, I'm actually gonna pause right here, so it leaves about 30 minutes for the next episode, probably an hour, because I'm gonna talk a lot. I'm gonna try to talk a little bit here. I get what he's saying. He has somewhat of a right idea. But at the same time, it's forcing one idea over another, and that becomes an issue where he is quite a bit far on whatever side he's on. The thing is, the reason why there is a separation church and state, so that we don't force people's beliefs on other people, which is what he's trying to do, basically, in some sense, saying a woman should have a right to go in there. Sure, if it's a government building, all people have a right to go in there. There is no doubts there. A private building, now I don't know if this temple is like a government temple or a community temple or something. I'm not sure the ownership of this temple. If it's government, then absolutely. And they could say, hey, look, if it's a government temple that's run and funded by the government, which is funded by the people, then they should say, hey, look, if you go in here, you're pregnant or menstruating or whatever, yeah, we highly suggest that you don't, but you can take your own risks. I can agree with them on that. But if it's a private temple, then it's a different story, because whoever runs it and funds that temple will have basically the say on that temple, which, hey, look, that's their temple, they can do what they want. Same thing with businesses, temples, businesses, whatever. Private stuff is for private ownership, for private rules, and they can create their own rules. That's the thing that he does not understand, and that's the problem, because the thing that I might, again, I don't understand the temple, how the ownership is with that and how it works. But I can only assume that it's a private temple and not by the government. And this becomes, that could potentially delve into like your house, your private house. It's like, what if someone wants to go in that house? Like, well, no, it's my house, it's my private house. Well, that's a private temple too, but you freaking enforce your own laws into it. And it might not be a good example, but that's the only thing I could think of at the time. But yes, and it's, it's just weird. I watch a lot of different videos. Like, there's been a lot of men issues that I'm watching on YouTube as well in the West. And there's I don't know if you want to watch it or not. I think it's free on Amazon. I don't know if it's available for everywhere. It's called The Red Pill. I watched that video. It was very interesting. It was from a female feminist, It's a very interesting documentary. Take it for what it is. I absolutely love it, and I wouldn't mind watching again because it's quite interesting. It's a very interesting journey this person takes. I'll just leave it at that. I'll also watch another issues with Black Americans. With God, I can't remember his name. It's a famous artist, Daryl Davis, I believe is his name. He there's a movie on him too on Amazon, which I absolutely love, and his basically he befriended KKK members, which are basically they're racist people, and he basically destroyed a lot of members of that party, which they gave them. They gave him their outfits because he convinced them out of their extremism, talking to them, hanging out with them. Amazing. Daryl Davis, super amazing dude. I absolutely love him, the things he does. He's so nice and so kind, at least in that video he presents that way. And again, it's I don't know. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of things like people like him who are intellectuals but they lack wisdom. Sadhguru, highest level of wisdom, good level of intelligence. He's lying whenever he says he's dumb. He is absolutely lying. He is a very smart man. He is lying to everyone. That's his wisdom, telling everyone it's like, oh, I'm dumb, I'm dumb. No, he's smart. And that is kind of the issue here in America too. They have these people who are super highly educated and who learn things in school and learn statistics and studies about society, but doesn't realize that there are certain things that you have to pick up on as you observe society. That whenever they take the statistics or the studies, that sometimes people lie. And again, the more samples you have, that lie becomes smaller and smaller, but there's still that lie there. And also what people write down on papers or studies or whatever. There's no more video, by the way. If you want to cut out here and stop hearing me talk, it's fine. And there are, how do I say, what people write down on paper and what people actually do are sometimes different, especially if it's something that can get them into trouble, and not in the sense that they're going to go to jail. It's just like, oh, so you are lying, or oh, so this specific sex or whatever is kind of bad. Anything that gets something that identifies as them in trouble, in a sense, they will probably lie about it. So if they say, oh no, the left or the right is not extreme at all, when there is obviously extremes on both ends. And when they say, it's like, oh yeah, I want equal rights for everyone, but I want more, but what they're thinking to myself, but I want more rights for myself and my group of people. It's kind of like that. What they write down on paper and what they actually mean and say are completely different things, and the only way to know what actual fact is by observation without interference, because you can see them acting naturally and you can see their actions. They say action speaks louder than words, because that's clear. You'll see what groups they participate in, you'll see what they vote for, who they vote for, what activities or activism they take. And then when you see that, it's not exactly perfect either, because you're interpreting what a lot they say, but at least you're having observations of what they're saying. So you can say, I can observe this person did this, and based on those observations you can make a rough estimate on their position and their real thoughts are, as opposed to what they write down. Now sometimes they can write down the truth, sometimes they don't, but you don't know for sure. You can only hope they do. So again, that Joe person was the name I was looking for on the phone, by the way, and he is severely lacking in wisdom. Probably highly intelligent person, but severely lacking in wisdom. I doubt he's highly intelligent. I think he's smart, but not highly intelligent. Arrogant and very much an activist for sure. Very much fits in American society from one perspective, obviously. Anyways, man, this has been a long journey. In the first two videos, there are, whew, man, and then we get into another one right here. Hopefully I didn't talk too much. But anyways, can't wait for the last part. So anyways, I gotta pause right here. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.